Formula One race flags are different than flags from other series because Formula One cars race in different types of weather, where many other series, say NASCAR, only races in dry weather. It's not that the NASCAR drivers are afraid of the rain, it's just that the physics don't work really well on an oval track. Indy cars race in the rain on a road course, but they'll have to race in the dry on an oval. And because of that, the flags are different. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the flags we'll see at a Formula One race as opposed to a NASCAR race, and I'll point out the similarities and the differences in both. First and foremost, the green flag. Now green means go. So, green always starts to be first and foremost, the green flag. Now green means go. It begins the race. It also indicates all clear and a return to race conditions from a yellow flag. So in NASCAR, it indicates the resumption of the race after a yellow flag period. Green's also used in Formula One, however, they don't have to race back to the start-finish line. When a virtual safety car leaves the track, green conditions can happen and you have green lights that would indicate that racing is available and you can then race past and resume racing as soon as you see the green light. So that is the green flag. Next up, the yellow flag. So a yellow flag has several messages depending on how it's displayed. So if you see a stationary yellow flag like this being waved, it means slow down and no passing through this area. However, after you pass through the area indicated on a road course, the next flag will be a green flag and you can continue the assumption of the race right from that point. Unlike at NASCAR where they have full field yellows for wheel nut falling off at Watkins Glen, which takes no time to fix and really shouldn't have anything but a local yellow. In Formula One, they have local yellow flag situations, and then mostly the race resumes under green. Now, if you see a waving yellow flag, that means to slow down, no passing, just like any yellow flag, no passing. But slow down, there's danger in the area, there could be an obstruction on the track, so you need to go slow and be prepared. And if there's a double yellow flag, that means be prepared to stop because something could be partially or wholly blocking the track. So be prepared to slow down, no passing, and maybe even be aware of a change direction. If you see a waving double yellow flag, that means slow down, be prepared to stop, be prepared to change direction, obviously no passing, and the track could be wholly or partially blocked. So you must be aware. And part of that is being ready to stop if you are advised to. Next up is a red flag. Now red flags indicate a suspension of whatever's happening on the track at this time. If you're on the track and the red flag displays, your job is to slow down to the slowest, safest speed and report back to the pit area. Regardless, just get back to the pits. Unless they are being held by a turn marshal at a particular point because the track is completely blocked, you need to go back into the pits. You'll find this a lot in qualifying during F1 sessions where they'll red flag the session so they can stop the clock, so they can clear the track so as to give all the competitors an equal chance. So you'll see a red flag often. In NASCAR, you'll see a red flag if there's weather like rain that comes quickly. Obviously, they're going to throw the yellow, they're going to bring them in and put the red flag. That puts a stop to all functions in the pit. So in NASCAR, when the red flag is waving or is displayed, you can't work on the car, you can't touch the car, you can do nothing to the car, you have to sit and wait. Okay, in Formula One, if you see a red flag, you can proceed back to the pits, you may cool your car down, and you may do everything to the car to prepare to go back out on the track. The other thing in NASCAR is you might see a red flag, which is a reason I hate, 5 laps from the end, so they can clean up a wreck so they can get the old green-white checker. So that's where you'll see a red flag in NASCAR. Unfortunately, you see too many of those. So we've gone through the green, the yellow, and the red flags in NASCAR and Formula One and some of their differences. Now, both series have a blue flag. In NASCAR, it's a blue flag with a yellow diagonal stripe through it, and in F1, it's a solid blue flag with no diagonal stripe. Both flags indicate the same thing. When it's pointed at you, it means that there's a car behind you that's faster, who is outpacing you, and you are going to be impeding that driver. You need to move over. It's in NASCAR, they call it the move over flag. In Formula One, where they're coming up on a lap traffic, you'll see the blue flag indicating that a faster car is behind you, so be prepared to move over, get out of his way, and let that guy go through. In Formula One, you'll see them display a blue flag indicating that there's a faster guy coming. Let's say he's lapping you, and you'll need to move over and not impede his progress and get out of the way. Also, during qualifying and when they're doing practices, Formula One drivers will sometimes do a practice lap or two and then slow down, re-energize their car, and then do another fast flying lap. They try to stay out of the racing line. But if track officials know that somebody's on a hot lap and you might be on one of your regeneration laps, you may see a blue flag to indicate that behind you somebody is coming up very quickly and to make sure you get out of the racing line. So that's the blue flag or the blue and yellow flag. Now next up we have the black flag. Now this can mean several different things. Now in F1, if you get the black flag waved at you, you're disqualified. There's no negotiation, you're out of the race, so you might as well go to the pits. It is a flagrant foul that you have been found as a driver or your team if you get black flagged. It is extremely rare in F1 to see a black flag. However, in NASCAR, black flags can be indicative of several things. One, it could be something's fallen off your car. So they may black flag you to get you to come into the pits so that the officials or your team can fix what is falling off the car. Also, it could mean that there is some type of time penalty. So you've got like 3 laps to go in and honor your black flag, or you will continue to get penalized, or you will stop getting scored. Sometimes they have a black flag and it'll have a big orange center in it, and that indicates that you might have parts falling off of your car. So there are different black flags in different races, but the black flag is definitely a flag you don't want to see in Formula One. You really don't want to see it either in NASCAR, quite frankly. Also, Formula One has a red and yellow striped, vertically striped flag, red and yellow flag, to indicate very slippery track conditions. So, if rain comes out or there's oil on the track in a particular area, you may be cruising along and get waved a red and yellow vertically striped flag indicating that there's a loss of grip on the track. So you can take any precautionary moves that you need to make. Pretty easy when you find out you don't have any grip. Doesn't mean that your tires are degraded. It might mean that somebody dropped oil on the track. NASCAR, they just throw yellow and they throw kitty litter on it. Another flag with entirely different meanings between NASCAR, most races, and Formula One is the white flag. Now, in every form of racing that I know, whether it be IndyCar, NASCAR, even sports car racing in America, the white flag indicates the last lap of a race. If you'll notice and watch a Formula One race, they don't show a white flag that I'm aware of, and I've watched a ton of them. What the white flag does indicate to drivers on the track that there may be an emergency vehicle up ahead or a slower moving vehicle up ahead of you. So as you're going down the track, you need to be eyes open to see what is ahead of you so that you can avoid any issues with that. So that's what the white flag will do. The white flag, for most part though, is, hey, this is the last lap of the race. The next flag, of course, is the checkered flag. This is the checkered flag. Everybody wants to see this, and actually, if you're a driver, you want to be the first one to see this flag because that indicates the race is over, and if you're the first one under it, that means you won that race, which is absolutely wonderful for you and your team, and it makes you a race winner. The checker flag in NASCAR, the checker flag is black and white, and that is the checkered flag. Now, NASCAR has a really stupid rule where they race to these caution flags. I think it's the dumbest thing they've ever done. And that's a lot because they've done a lot of dumb things, and that's why they're losing their audience. But they have a green and white checker that indicates the end of a segment. They have 2 segments during the race, and then the final segment is the checkered flag. And they award points at the end of the segment. But what happens is they wave this flag, and then everybody slows down into the yellow flag period. And it's just really dumb because it makes every NASCAR race just a series of sprint races and no longer what they were designed to be, which are intermediate distance races that require both skill, a lot of strategy. That's why Formula One's so cool, because of the strategy, and it requires that your car actually make it. Nowadays, although they can't actually work on the car, they can't put a new motor in, for instance, which they used to in the 70s, interestingly enough. I think if you look it up, you might see Cale Yarborough might have done an engine change in 12 minutes once. It's kind of crazy. Look up the record for the fastest engine change in NASCAR. Anyway, back in the mid-70s, early 80s, or whatever, it was kind of a common thing because points were different. But anyway, there is a green and white checkered flag to indicate the end of a segment in a NASCAR race, a truck race, whatever. That's why I like Formula One better, because this is the only checkered flag I want to see. So thanks for watching. Leave your comments. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll give you Formula One news at least once or twice a week, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye for now.